Greetings, landlubbers, countrymen, island dwellers, whatever you want to call it. Noisy bugger. I trust you're all keeping well. I'm off on my daily jaunt. I'm off to pick Sarah up actually. Just doing a few hours at work. Finishing at 4 o'clock, so I thought I'd nip down and walk around, give me a breath of fresh air. So yeah, hope you're all keeping well. Something occurred to me yesterday when I was watching my video back, once I'd uploaded it to YouTube yesterday. And after watching videos from other people, friends of mine, they tend to do the same thing. I've noticed a trait that we all have. And it's quite a funny one, really, but I thought I'd come on and explain why we all have this trait. And I'll tell you what it is. We jump from one subject to another rapidly without realising it. And it's an easy thing to do, because the brain of a truther, or somebody that likes to unravel what's going on in the world today, very active. Looks like he's just finished work. Yeah, very active brains, and it occurred to me yesterday that it's quite easy to go down another tunnel. It's like a rabbit hole. If anybody understands how rabbits live, they dig one hole, but there's so many tunnels to different areas, and this is exactly what we go through regular. This is how we live. It's a way of life. It's almost as though once you see something, you can't unsee it, and then days later, hours later, days later, weeks later, you might get another snippet of information that triggers that off again. And one such post that I read on Facebook the other day did exactly that. And this triggered a part of my life from quite some years ago. And I saw this guy. He's another one that's doing videos that's exposing the vaccine scandal, conspiracy if you like, everything that's going on. He's trying to bring it to the attention of his buddies. Anyway, I saw this guy and I thought, that's not who he says he is. And I'm not going to name names on here because I understand why he's done it. Now, let's call him Mr. A. Back in the day, he was called Mr. A. Well, yesterday, he was known as Mr. B. And I'm like, why is that? I'm sure that's such and such. Anyway, I did me bit of research, me digging and delving, and lo and behold, it was Mr. A. But he's now known as Mr. B because of all the flack that he got from the authorities on the exposure of child paedophilia. So yeah, coming back to see what I mean? I've done it again. You go down a rabbit hole and you speak about stuff. So it's not going to be a big video today, a long video. It's just to let you know that I am aware of what's going on. But this is why we flick from one thing to another. Because there's so much, it's an absolute labyrinth of information. And when the penny starts dropping and you think, hang on a minute, that runs in with that, and that is related to that, and that person, he works for such and such, so they've got a conflict of interest there. Once you start putting those pieces together, and it can be quite a task sometimes, that's when you start realising, hang on a minute, this isn't such a conspiracy theory at all. This is actually fucking happening. Okay? So bear with me, guys. when I'm flicking from one thing to another, one subject to another, just bearing in mind they all link. Here's an example. Another example. The other day I was reading about the military in New York City in America rescuing tens of thousands of children, allegedly being trafficked and used in paedophile rings. And these children allegedly live in the underground tunnels around New York City, and apparently there's tunnels all over America. And I thought, oh, okay then, well, yeah, I can understand that there's disused tunnels from the tubeways and such like, and I dare say there's some in London. But I didn't realise, I thought it was a bit bollocks, do you know what I mean? I was like, I don't think people would be living down there, maybe the odd homeless guy or whatever, but digging and delving, doing a bit of research, because obviously I don't want this to be true. It becomes apparent then that there are not only hundreds but literally thousands of people living in tunnels under pretty much every major city throughout the world. And that was a big fucking bite of the apple to take, because I was like, fuck, that, I can't imagine what it'd be like. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been homeless years and years ago. I was homeless, and it's not an easy way of life, obviously. But to think that there's thousands of fucking people living down these tunnels, and I thought, well, surely this is fake news. So I dug a bit deeper, and it's not fake news at all. In fact, there was a chap, I can't remember his name, I haven't got the information with me at the moment, but there was a chap produced a film, and it was on, I found out that it was on Netflix. Well, I had looked through Netflix, and lo and behold, in, I think it was 2014, they removed it. Or was that when it was published? I think that's maybe when it was published, but they've removed it from the listing now. I wonder why. And he won awards for this, so it is real. It is real. But apparently I've had a really good look online as well, on all the illegal video streaming websites as well, and I still can't find this video, but it does exist. It's on all the major databases, but I couldn't find it anyway. But it was real. It was a real film, and he won awards for it. And I'm thinking, well, okay then. And this is how we're indoctrinated. We weren't brought up to even believe that people could live in such ways. Our lives are fucking weird, to say the least. We don't understand how humanity can live this alternative way of life. But like I say, coming back to the fact that the original report I read about these children being trafficked and used in paedophile rings was quite shocking in itself. But when I did my research, I found out that there's quite a high possibility that it could be true. Good afternoon. That was nice. First time somebody spoke to me. So yeah, these are the things that I would like to do. I'd love to travel to New York City, and I would go down, even though they are known to be extremely dangerous places for obvious reasons. I mean, God only knows what you'd find down there. Apparently it's not, allegedly it was something to do with the authorities and the military in New York City, I think this is the one that I was looking up anyway, they wanted to clean the streets up. Well, we all know that's true. They don't want homeless people to be seen in these high streets and such like, bringing down the image of all these big corporations and such like. We know that happens, there's no doubt about that. So anyway, they basically ushered them down these tunnels and accepted the fact that they was going to live there, and it's just gone on and on and on and blown up to something that's beyond our belief, really. So like I say, that was an interesting thing, so please bear with me when I drift off onto other avenues. There's always a reason for it, because there's links to underground tunnels. You wouldn't believe that they were involved in the child traffic and paedophilia scandal that's quite, you know, in the mainstream media at the moment. But so there you go, bear with me. Like I said, this is a way of life, and many people will be able to you know, understand what I'm saying. Those people that are aware of something being very wrong in the world today, and it's quite surprising when one thing just pops up in your head and you think, hang on a minute, yeah, that's true. But say, this guy, when I found out that this guy's name had changed, that goes back to possibly about 8 years ago. That's how active our brains are. It's there all the time, ticking away. And that's how you make those connections with these stories. Because let's face it, we're not living in a world where things are clear cut anymore. We don't know what to believe. The news on the TV is a prime example of, in fact, I don't know why anybody even watches it anymore, because majority of it now is most definitely fear-mongering. Most definitely. I don't think there's any doubt about that anymore. But it'd be interesting to find out what Boris, that's the one. Boris is up to. His first day back in office apparently today. So again, I haven't seen much of it. I've been programming a Raspberry Pi. For those that don't know, that's a mini computer, and I'm going to be running it on YouTube. And there was no sound coming through the HDMI cable, so I had to do a little bit of programming on that just to alter that. But that's what I've been doing. That's why I've not really done any digging and delving today. And like anybody else, they need time off. You need a breather. You need to come up from the rabbit hole from time to time and take a good old deep breath, smell the roses, so to speak. Anyway, I'm not far off Sarah's workplace, and I'm going to enjoy 10 minutes before she finishes. So take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's not quite as nice today, but it's cool. It's lovely. Take it easy. Bye for now.